This tutorial should help you get familiar with the game's interface. Clicking on the choices, you'll shape the story and proceed along your adventure. Clicking on the icon above the choice will play its audio. With these arrows, you'll scroll through the longer choices. Click on this button to hide the book. Now click it again to reveal. Click on the bottom left corner to move the book and the choices. Now click it again to return the elements to the game screen. These buttons are to manage the narration's audio. Here, you'll find the icons to manually save the game and to see the amount of fate you have left. Here, you can find the icons to return to the main menu, to see the game's options, and to pause the music and narration. When you return to the main menu, the game is automatically saved to the autosave slot of the campaign. You can customize all the controls from the game options. Now, click on the first choice to begin your story, or click on the other one if you'd rather get to know the game system better. Several years have passed since Leon set out to seek his obsessions. His stubbornness resulted in a war for the conquest of Kael'Sinar. However, he has yet to acquire all the knowledge he needs to dominate the nation, and with time, the entire world. As part of Kael'Sinar has fallen under his heel, the resistance has risen to stop him. The head of the rebels has hidden in the Ismaran forest. He has called for a council to end the war and destruction wreaked by Leon. He is aware that people need a hero to inspire them if he is to gain back the trust that continues to falter day after day. The head of the rebels is none other than Raymond, the wizard who once ruled the Tower of Balinor. He turns to a ranger to search far and wide for the only person who could take on the role of such a hero, the famed Daragast Layar. As Raymond mulls over the desperate situation, he sips a glass of wine in his austere tent. He indulges in a singular, quiet moment before the volunteer for Daragast's search is called inside. And Coran, a young, green-skinned woman, steps up. She's a sylph and an expert tracker. She belongs to a new race, another failed magic experiment. However, instead of isolating herself from the world, she wishes to be part of it, so as to give her life meaning. And Coran wishes for acceptance. She longs to leave behind all the years of abuse and mistreatments. She has joined the resistance, seeking deliverance from her past.
And Corin, I'm glad you've come forward for this mission.
I want to help the cause, Raymond. Sylph replies. Where do you suggest I begin?
The most recent intel we have dates a few years back and comes from 3 different locations. You could try looking in the city of Akma, the forest of Rulath, or in Rost. Unfortunately, we can't tell which are trustworthy.
I'll depart immediately, Ancoran declares.
I'll be eagerly waiting for your return.
Ancoran bows to Raymond and takes her leave to start packing for her journey. She needs supplies, weapons, and money. But first, she needs to choose where she's heading. Rulath Forest. The walk to Rulath Forest was long. Before you is a dark
maze of trees and entangled branches. You'd rather not go into the woods now, as it's evening. But you need to find Daragast as soon as possible, so you wander into the forest. The path unravels between the trees, and as you advance, you hear some wolves howling. You rush forward as the call of the wild beasts grows closer. Finally, you spot a trembling light in the distance. Perhaps the window of a cabin? You hope to get there before the wolves are upon you, but it's too late. 3 pairs of yellow eyes point your way, and you'll have to face them.
Waiting means hesitating. The wolves sense your fear and the whole pack jumps on you.
The strategy you'd thought up doesn't work out well in practice. You manage to pierce the stomach of the first beast, but the other two sink their jaws in your legs. They wound your calf, your thigh, and the area next to your groin. You fight desperately to get them off you, but your strength abandons you and your vision grows cloudy. You feel a warm rivulet drip down your leg and drop down to the ground as the jaws of a wolf close around your throat.
The walk to Rulath Forest was long. Before you is a dark maze of trees and entangled branches. With woodland predators, the best strategy is to strike
First, and quickly. You can't show any fear. You unsheathe your knives with both hands and hurl them in one single fluid movement. You hit the first two wolves straight between the eyes. The third beast immediately stops growling, turns tail, and runs. Nature's perils seem to have come to an end, but your ranger's instincts suggest otherwise. Rulath might still have a few surprises in store yet. However, you're also in a hurry to find out who lives in that cabin. You see two paths before you. One is a stone road, while the other looks like a beaten track. You close in and study both carefully before deciding which one to take. You may fall into a trap. The stone path is clearly the work of men. The other looks more like the result of animals passing by. Both could be safe, but you never know.
The path is flanked by trees, but goes straight to the cabin.
You're almost there when suddenly you feel the stones move under your feet. A contraption goes off to your right. Leaving no time to react, a swarm of wooden spikes jab at your tender flesh. Whoever lives in the cabin must be extremely cautious and probably set up some traps. A wooden grid with spikes hits you right on. You're not dead yet, but you can feel your life force leaving you. Your adventure ends here.
With woodland predators, the best strategy is to strike first, and quickly. You can't show any. The path you've chosen seems to lead away from the cabin. It keeps changing its course. You're afraid you might run into more wolves, or perhaps some other nocturnal creatures. Darkness is falling fast, and even though you're an expert, you'd rather avoid traveling like this. Your perseverance pays off. You almost didn't expect to see the cabin's light again. You've arrived directly on the opposite side. The window lights give away that someone inside is awake. Another howl echoes in the forest. You shiver and quicken your step. You're so close now that if someone opened the door in time, you wouldn't have to face another fight. You approach the cabin and breathe a sigh of relief. As you knock, the door opens on its own. Inside, the light of several candles reflects on hundreds of glass vials, diffusing a red glare. There are so many you can barely count them. An old blind woman sits at the center of the room.
I've been expecting you, Ancora and the Sylph.
She whispers with a squawking voice. How do you know my name?
I know many things, and I foresee others. I'm rarely wrong.
Are you a seer?
Yes.
Can you help me? You ask her, your heart racing.
It will cost you 2 golden coins, 1 for each eye.
Without a single word, you place the coins on the table. You've come prepared. I'm looking for a man, a warrior. His name is Daragast Layar.
There is no one with that name.
He's dead then. You shake your head desperately.
That's not what I said.
What do you mean?
You need to ask the right questions.
Where can I find the person who lived by that name?
That's better.
The old woman smiles and continues.
Look for him in Rost.
What's he doing in Rost?
He plays a different instrument, but the song remains the same.
You'd like to ask more questions, but the old lady raises her hand.
Rest on the straw mattress in the back of the room. You'll resume your journey tomorrow morning.
Your instincts suggest not to object, and you go lie down. The following morning, you wake up to find the house deserted, and you feel empty somehow. You resume your path right away. The village is quite rural and is mainly dwelt in by farmers and shepherds. You have no idea who to look for. The intel you've gathered is scarce. The only thing you have is your man's name. Rost's inhabitants don't seem to fear you, even though your look is definitely out of the ordinary. Perhaps they've seen strange creatures already. You ask a few people for Daragast Lyar, but no one can help you. You get to the blacksmith's shed, and a grizzled man with a toned body quickly glances at you. He continues striking at the horseshoe he's working on with his hammer. The metal seems to be singing.
How may I help you?
The blacksmith asks. I'm looking for a man.
Name?
Daragast Lyar. The blacksmith nearly loses his grip on the hammer.
He's dead.
Something tips you off, and you continue to press the man. I don't think so. Your reaction speaks volumes. The blacksmith threatens you with his hammer, his eyes flaming.
You'd better listen to me and go back where you came from.
The blacksmith looks down and continues his work.
The man you're looking for left long ago. I don't think he shall ever be back.
He replies evasively. Kael Sinar needs him.
No. The rebels need him. You have no hope.
At least we fight.
And you shall die. Every last one of you.
If Daragast should ever show up, tell him he can find me in the Ismaran forest with Raymond. You turn on your heels and leave without waiting for his reply.